Janna, you got a very interesting story, and I want you to tell people about it. Go back to the point where you were 7 years old. That's where everything started. So
absolutely. So at the age of 7, because I used to carry my cousins kind of on one side because I love kids, and I did it for many years growing up, 2 of my bottom discs actually popped out of place. So in Ukraine, there isn't really chiropractors per se, but there is people who knew enough to put them back in place, so adjust them back in alignment. And when that was done, since then until now, I never really went to a chiropractor, never thought that I needed to go to a chiropractor until February of 2013.
How, now, you say you didn't know to go to, how did you get the idea to go to a chiropractor?
There was actually a lady in our city where we lived who saw me walking, and she said that there was something wrong with my back. And so she asked my parents if she could adjust me, but we didn't know what adjustment was. My parents said, yeah, go ahead. So she actually adjusted me, and I began to walk normally.
All right, so that's that we've now progressed from age of 7 on up
to 30 plus.
Yeah, 30 plus. And then what happened?
In February of 2013, excuse me, I was going to work. It was a regular day.
Yeah.
When I went to reach over and press the elevator button, my legs gave out.
Ooh.
Yes, so don't really remember that day too well, but I remember calling back to the apartment, and I had back pain on and off. It would come and go for a couple of days. I would take Advil or something a little stronger. It would go away. So I never really thought I had a back problem.
Yep.
Until a week goes by and I still have no feeling in my legs.
Yikes.
And going from one doctor to another, obviously waiting to do MRIs, X-rays, all kinds of specialists to see, but nobody was able to give me an answer as to why I had no feelings in my legs.
At that point, scared?
Beyond.
Beyond scared, yes.
When it takes you about 20-30 minutes to get up off a couch or off a bed to just sort of stand because you can't feel your legs, you're on crutches.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Darn tootin', I can only imagine, yeah.
When you wake up in the morning and you wiggle your toes and you can't feel them, it's eye-opening.
Now this severe, the panic level and so on was present for how many days or weeks or whatever it was?
3 months.
3 months.
Until I started getting feeling back in my legs on and off. So I would get feeling in my left leg, then it would go away and it would switch to my right leg. And in the meantime, I was going to work on crutches, and not being able to stand or sit for more than 5 minutes was definitely a challenge.
I guess so. So then, how did the light go on?
The light go on. It didn't really go on.
No?
At the 3 months point, I ended up taking a medical leave because I couldn't function. I would be at work one day and then off recovering for 2-3 days.
Okay.
So I knew it wasn't fair to my team. It wasn't fair to the job that I was doing because I wasn't really doing it. And I knew I needed to get answers. So I went on a medical leave. And during those 6 months, going through all the MRIs, X-rays, CAT scan, and still not being able to get an answer. I was told by some people that I was imagining the pain. I was told by some that I just wanted to go on a medical leave, which was quite entertaining.
Yeah.
The end result of it, after all my tests were done, and I got my results from everything, was that I did have a slight problem in my L4, so one of my discs closer to the
bottom. One of those original ones.
Yeah. Yes, surprisingly. And that I had an option to go for surgery, even though I didn't know what the surgery was for and what it would resolve, or if it would resolve anything, but there was a risk that I would come out paralyzed. Good 70-80% chance of that. The other option was to wear a tensor machine for the rest of my life. On top of the tensor machine, wear a back belt for the rest of my life, and apparently that would make the problem go away. But as I did wear that for probably 2 to 3 days. It actually made it a lot worse.
Ooh.
So in the meantime, while I was waiting for all these wonderful specialists to give me an answer, my sister actually kept texting me and calling me and saying, you need to go see this doctor. And my answer to her was, well, no, I'm going to see a specialist. I'm okay, thank you. So eventually on the third time, which happened to be at the end of my 6 months medical leave, I still had no answers. I still couldn't sit for more than 5 minutes. It would take me 20 to 30 minutes to just get up off the bed.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep. Pills were not helping. I got muscle relaxants because one of the answers I actually got was that I had really tense muscles in my low back.
Sure.
And by taking the muscle relaxant, not knowing better, I took it on a Saturday at noon and woke up on a Monday at 6 p.m.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
so obviously your brain doesn't know which muscle to relax, and the biggest muscle in your body is your heart.
Yep.
So I am extremely blessed to still be alive.
My goodness.
Never took those pills again. Still have them. Still have them.
Oh,
But
my.
yes, so my sister kept calling and saying, you need to go see this doctor. He knows what he's doing, because he was able to help her.
Now, who is this doctor?
Dr. Dmitry Sokolov.
Oh, okay.
And I
So-
kept saying, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. At the end of my 6 months medical leave, I still had no answer. I had to go back to work.
You're fairly stubborn then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I believed my doctors, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That's what they're there for.
Sure. Yeah.
To give me answers. But
Yeah.
after all that radiation exposure and everything else, I still had no answers. But I
Yeah.
have all the reports.
Yeah.
And literally my mindset was, I will not go to a chiropractor because I've had several experiences with a chiropractor and they weren't pleasant to me. I didn't get an answer I wanted.
Yep.
And it was actually after being sent to multiple doctors who couldn't help me by my family doctor. I just kept getting referred and referred and referred. I had more appointments than I think I've ever had in my life in a matter of 2 months. And it was actually a doctor who practiced in acupuncture who said to me, honey, I can't help you, it's your spine. And I said, well, finally I got some kind of an answer.
Yeah.
And then obviously the thought popped back into my head, my sister going, well, you need to go see this chiropractor. Well, chiropractor, spine, I had no idea.
Is this an older sister or a younger sister?
Older sister.
Older sister. We don't listen to them, do we?
No.
No, you got a lot
Not
of
quite.
advice from her all along, eh?
Not quite.
Yeah. However, finally.
I crawled into the office. I couldn't drive because it was mostly my right leg that was not having any feeling at all. So my dad drove me to Dr. Dimitri's office. It took me about 20 minutes to walk up a flight of 4 stairs.
Wow.
When I made it in, I was examined and found it very surprising that a chiropractor went to the extent of taking x-rays to find out what was wrong with me. That was a surprise after being to 3 that didn't. He asked me to come back for a report, and I had no idea what he was talking about because I was in just excruciating pain to the point where really strong pills were not helping anymore. I hadn't slept for months because of this pain. So I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll be here. So I came back for the report. It was very informative.
Sorry, how many days later, roughly?
It was over the weekend, so I came back on a Monday for a report. I remember that.
Okay, so it was a logical break, but in the meantime, nothing got any better, other than you maybe had a little bit of hope.
A little bit, because when doctor did my physical examination, in the matter of 6 months, he was the first doctor who pinpointed exactly where it hurt, and I was dumbfounded because up until now I've been told that I was imagining that I couldn't feel my legs or that I had pain.
Yeah.
So came back for the report, couldn't sit through it. I had to stand through the report because of the pain that I was in. I don't remember much of it, but I remember the fact that it made sense to me about what he was talking about, because all the questions I had in my head, in the matter of that report, he was able to answer them. And when I saw my x-rays and I saw the state that my body was in, it scared me a little bit, or a lot.
Yes. Action time.
I knew that no matter what, I needed to get these treatments because nothing else has helped, and I literally tried everything.
Yep.
And I got adjusted that day, and within a short time, I would come for my regular adjustments.
Short time. How much is this?
A couple of weeks.
Okay.
It was a couple of weeks where...
And you were getting adjustments how many times in the week?
It was recommended that I come in 3 times a week.
Okay.
Because the problem was fairly severe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know exactly what day it was, but I know that coming back from one of the adjustments, like I said, my dad was driving me because I couldn't drive.
Yeah.
I just happened to get out of the car and start walking, where up to that point it would take me a good 15 to 20 minutes just to stretch and stand up straight beside the car so that I could walk.
Wow.
And so realizing that I'm walking, I stopped and I turned around, and my dad was dumbfounded standing at the car looking at me with his mouth pretty much on the floor going,
yeah.
You're walking. Yeah. So it happened out of nowhere.
Beauty.
And I actually called the doctor the next morning, because the next morning I got up and it didn't take me 20 minutes to get up out of bed.
Yeah.
And I called the doctor and I said, I don't know if I'm imagining, but I have no pain.
Huh.
And he told me straight up, he goes, well, you can't imagine it. It's either you have pain or you don't.
Yes, yeah.
So knowing the amount of pain that I had before, I know I wasn't imagining it.
Yes.
Because
you recognize the symptoms.
Yeah, just a little. So that being said, I continued with my program of care. I started doing the exercises Dr. Dimitri said I needed to do because didn't understand why, but the exercises and the adjustments work together.
Beauty, yeah.
And
sure.
It changed my life so much to the point where now I work for this doctor.
Yeah, and that's where I came in and said, hey, well, isn't that a neat story? And
Yes.
since then, any flare-ups?
I have not had any flare-ups. I have actually, the reason behind my back pain and my legs giving out was because I had a major problem in my neck.
Oh.
Where all my nerves in my neck were choked off, therefore the signal wasn't going down my body.
Okay.
And my spinal cord wasn't able to send information
Okay.
to my nerves, to my organs, and to everything else. And since everything passes from the brain down your neck, that was kind of a huge problem.
I guess so.
It was actually an awesome celebration for me this past weekend when we were in Atlanta as a team for training.
Yeah.
Because exactly at this point last year, I couldn't walk.
Ah, boy.
And this year when we were in Atlanta in training, I ran for the first time the longest distance that I've been able to run. So when you compare a year ago, excruciating pain, pills not helping, no answers, not able to walk, sit, stand, or sleep, I just existed to the point where I can run now and I have my life back.
Beautiful story. Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.